Hi everybody, this is Kelly with Soulful Creations, and I'm here with another tutorial making the Kellie Bag by Mekaposh. Yes, it's named after me. I was so thrilled, so humbled, so honored that she decided to name a bag after me. Nobody's ever named a bag after me. That's so crazy to me. And it's such a cute bag, okay? So I'm so happy to be making this tutorial. This is, just the kind of bag I like. I like a structured bag. It has the purse feet on the bottom, real solid bottom. These nice roomy side panels, and I love this decorative front panel with this like 3D effect on the front, and these rolled handles. There's two different ways that she gives you to do these rolled handles. And I went back and forth on which ones I was going to do. I thought I was going to do the ones with the rectangle hardware, but then I kind of fell in love with these. And I'm glad I did these. So you have a recessed zipper. And as usual, we have a slip pocket with the slip pocket trim, and we have a zipper pocket with overlay. There's so much room inside this bag. It opens up nice and wide so you can see everything that's in there. And I really am so thrilled and was so happy to be able to do this tutorial. So get the pattern. The link is in my description. Cut out everything you need to cut out. I'm not going to go over every piece like I usually do, because I think most people just kind of skip over that anyway. They just really want to get to the point. So, but if you have any questions about, cutting out or interfacing or anything, you can always just leave me a comment. I'm always checking, and I'm always quick to answer. So anyway, check out this Kellie bag and let's get ready to start. Join me. Thank you. Anyway, let's get started on our Kellie bag. So we're going to need the pieces to make our front panel. So you should have your front center panel, and it should look something like this. Okay, and then you will have your two front side panels, and they should be mirrored like that. And then you will need your front top panel. Okay, so your front top panel. So let's start with these three pieces here. Okay, so first thing is there are some marks on this pattern piece that you need to transfer at the bottom and the top. That's going to let you know where to place these side panels because they overlap. Okay, so make sure you mark those. And then on your side panel, we're just putting a piece of double-sided tape on the curvy side. And then we're going to put that in place before we top stitch it on. Okay, so I already have my marks in place. And I'm going to go ahead and remove the backing off my double-sided tape. And I'm going to lay that down. So I'm just overlapping right on those marks. So that's one in, and then this one. And then we just gently press that down. Okay. Okay. And it should look like that. And then we're going to go ahead and do the other side. And then to make sure you pay attention to which is the top and which is the bottom. Okay. So it should look like this. So so you don't get confused, because you can turn it this way. You can have it either way, but this is the way it's meant to be. So put a T on the top for the top and B for the bottom, so you don't get it mixed up. Okay, if that will help. So now we're just going to top stitch these on 1/8 of an inch. Okay. And if you don't like that raw edge showing, if it's, you know, some vinyls have too much white showing through, then you can edge coat these pieces before you put them on as well. Just make sure you do that ahead of time and give it time to dry. Okay, so I'm just top stitching 1/8 of an inch. And just take your time and follow those curves. Maybe. And so you should have it like this, and then we'll just do the other side. Here we go. Okay. Alrighty. So now that both of those are top stitched on, now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our we're going to grab our top piece. I'm sorry. So we're going to grab our front top panel, and we're going to place that right along the top, right sides together, and we're going to stitch that on at 3/8 of an inch. Okay. So 3/8 of an inch seam allowance on this. Okay, and then once we have that stitched on, we're going to bring the top panel up, have the seam allowance going up towards the top panel, and we're going to top stitch that at 1/8 of an inch. And now your front panel should look like this. There's no interfacing or stabilizer yet. So what we're doing now is we're going to mark out some measurements on the back of our front panel. So we're going to measure, let me just double check. Okay. And yes, just as I thought. Okay. So we're going to, well, first let's do this. I'm sorry. I'm skipping. So we have these stabilizer pieces. They look like little snakes. They're cut mirrored. So these are going to go onto these curves on the back of our front panel. And then that's what's going to give us that sort of little 3D effect on the front of the front panel. So we're going to match up those curves. So, and it should fall just, so if you match up the curves, it's going to look like this, just like that. And we're just, this is Decaville heavy. So I could just press that on right onto the back. Okay. And I'm going to put the other piece on the other side. Okay, and just matching up those curves. So I have one on each side, just like that. Okay, and we're going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that on and press that in place. And then I'm going to come back and show you what we do next. So let me go ahead to my ironing board or my press and go ahead and press that in place. And you do the same and we'll be back. Okay, so I went ahead and I adhered my Decaville heavy on those curvy parts. And then I also, the markings I was talking about, so from the top we made a mark and then on the bottom. So the measurements are in the pattern. And then we place our Decaville light on the back. So lining it up with that bottom mark. So then it should look like this. So you should have that Decaville heavy underneath and then the Decaville light. So now what I also did was, because it makes it, that's going to be where we're going to sew here, and it's going to make that stabilizer kind of pop forward on the front panel. If you want it to be even cushier, you could put some foam as well. I think, so one of the testers did that and hers just really popped. So if you want to do that, you can also put some foam to make it, just give it more of a 3D effect. So what I did was I went around that, the edge there with my chalk. So I know, so my when I go to top stitch that it looks nice and even and uniform. So now I'm going to go ahead and, sew over my chalk lines there. And I'm going to start at the bottom here. Make sure you take your time. You don't want to rush through this. And I'm not going to backstitch at the top. I'm going to stop just right below that seam. Right before that seam there. And try not to puncture your vinyl like I just did. Ay, ay, ay. So, and then I'm just going to go ahead and tie it off in the back. And okay, and so now it should look like that. And so you kind of see, you know, that it's a little raised there. Brings that out. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. But first, I think I may need to change. I'm going to change my bobbin real quick, because I started out with one that didn't have much in there. So I'm going to go ahead and change that. Since I'm top stitching. And while I'm at it, I'm going to turn this down too. Okay. Alrighty, so now I'm going to go ahead and do this side. Okay, and one last stitch. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay, so now our front panel is complete, and now we're ready to put our handle connectors on. So you should have your back panel. Your back panel should be cut out, and it should have the interfacing on the back, if you're using Decaville Light, with the same marks that we put on the front. Okay, so, and we lined up the Decaville Light at the bottom mark. So we should have our back and our front. And then there are two strap options. Okay, so you can use the one with that you need rectangle rings with. That's actually option 2. And then option 1 is just as a the connectors that look like this. So you will have 2 pieces here. You'll have a bigger piece and then a smaller piece like this that sits there. And we're going to sew the smaller piece onto the bigger piece. And we're going to place that. And after we put our handles on, so that's going to be our handle. This will cover the ends of our handles, our rolled handles when we make them. So we're going to do, I'm doing option 1. So I'm going to go ahead and get these prepared. So I'm going to grab these, and then I'll show you what we need to do with these. And then after that, we'll make our rolled handles. Okay, so I'm back. I'm doing option 1 handle connectors. Okay, and so again, there's one bigger piece and then a smaller piece. And what I've done is I've just taken a piece of double-sided tape and I put the smaller piece on top. We're lining up the top edges. So just like this, so I'm going to show you. I did 3 of them, and then I'm going to do the 4th one here. So I'm just putting a piece of double-sided tape down the center like that. And then I'm just kind of lining it up, matching up the top edges and then centering it. And what I did beforehand was I put some edge coat on the edges there, just so the white part wouldn't show. Okay, so now once you have these, we're going to top stitch around the small end. Now she says top stitch from the top and go all the way down and back up. I'm also going to go across the top as well. It's just the look I want. So I'm going to start across the top, and I'm not going to back stitch. Okay. And we're just top stitching onto the smaller connector, not the larger one. Okay. And I'm going to pull the thread to the back. And okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tie that off. So that's what it's going to look like when you're done. And so I'm going to go ahead, I'll get all 4 prepared, and then we'll do the rolled handles. Alrighty now, so all of my connectors have been top stitched. So we can just go ahead and put those aside. And now grab your handle pieces. So these are your roll handle pieces. And we need our tubing. This is, I think, 10 millimeter tubing, and I think that's the outer diameter. So it's pretty thick tubing. I got this from the department store. So here we have Lowe's or Home Depot, whatever your department store is, they should have this. This is like in the plumbing department, I believe. So we need 2 pieces. There's different length tubing depending on what rolled handle option you choose. So for option 1, you're going to need a longer piece than you need for option 2. So pay attention to that in the pattern. So have your handle pieces. I've already have this one all prepped up to sew. So you're going to draw a line on the long edge, 1/2 inch on each side. I place some double-sided tape, and we're going to fold that in up to the line. So it should look like this after. Okay, and then we're going to fold it together again. So we're going to meet the fold, and we're going to clip that. And we're going to sew 1/8 of an inch along that fold. We're going to start and stop 1/2 inch from the beginning and end. So don't sew all the way from the beginning, and don't go all the way to the end. So make a mark 1/2 inch, and that's our starting and stopping point. So I'm just going to use my little chalk here, and I'm going to mark. I know that's 1/2 an inch there, and then we'll do 1/2 an inch there. Okay. And we're just going to go ahead and top stitch. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead, and then we're going to grab our tubing, and we're going to insert that. You want it to be pretty snug. So we'll just go ahead and get that in there, and it should feed in pretty easily. As I say, then maybe not. Once you get it going. Okay, and we'll get it pushed in. Okay, so once I get it that far, I try to just get it, what do I use there? The last time, I think I used some pliers, and I was just trying to get it pushed in. That's what I did. And then so I use my needle nose pliers, and I just kind of get it in there and then just push it in. until it's just about in. We want it even on both sides. So you want it snug. So I know it's, you know, a bit to try to really get it in there, but this is how you want it, or else you'll have a really wrinkled looking road handle, and you don't want that. Okay, so I got it just about where I want it. Just push it just a little more. Okay. And it's still not that even, so let me continue. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna grab from this end. There we go. Alright. So now we should have it that 1/2 inch, and I'm just making sure they're about the same. It can go just, I think I pushed it just a little too much. So I'm just grabbing the end and kind of pulling it a little. These pliers really help. I know it doesn't seem like it. Okay. All right. I think, yeah, that's pretty even. So that's what your handle will look like. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. I won't torture you with the other. I'll go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to show you how we're going to install them onto our panels. So now you should have both your rolled handles. They should look like this. And then 1/2 inch from the bottom of the handle, you're going to center and punch a hole for the rivet. And then we're going to use the pattern piece here, the back panel piece, to mark the placement for our connector and also the rivet placement. And I've also punched the holes in those, in both the front and the back. So now all we need to do is just attach the handle with the rivets, and then we will put our connector over that. So let me grab my rivets here, and I'm using just some regular double cap 9mm rivets. Okay, and I'm going to come in. Well, before that, I like to put a little more stabilizer behind the rivets. So I'm going to cut some little squares here from this Peltex. And I'm going to put that as well. So we'll have more stability with our rivets. So I'll just punch a little hole in those. Okay. So you always want to have as much stability as you can, especially where the bag will be bearing a lot of weight. Okay, so now I'm going to use that, if I can not flick it away. Okay, and push that through. Then I will put my handle on. Find the hole there. Press that on. Sure it's all lined up there. Oops. Hold on, my not all lined up. Get it back lined up. There we go. There we go. And we put our cap on. Okay. There we go. And we'll do the same with the other. Make sure the holes line up there. And add a cap. Okay. And now, it should look like that at this point. Oh. The cap came off. Okay. Well, let me set that. So let me grab my rivet press and let me set those rivets so they don't move. Okay. Get it right there. Just making sure it's straight. Okay. And this side. There we go. Alrighty. So that's what we should have. So that's what it should look like. Okay. And then we're going to do so it should look like that at this point. Then we're going to take our, so before I'm sorry, we also needed to trace out the shape of the connector as well. And I've done that. It's very hard to see here. But we're going to place the connector right over there, right on the marks that we drew out. And then we're going to top stitch on the larger connector piece to put it all in place there. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Before we can add some double-sided tape to just make sure it's in place. You can also, if your rolled handle seems like it wants to move, you can add a rubber band here to kind of hold it in shape, hold its place so it stays straight. Okay, I'm going to see if I could find a rubber band. I think I have some rubber bands. And I might put a rubber band there to hold it after I go ahead. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to grab some of this double-sided tape. I'm going to put a piece here. And I'll put it right there in the center of my connector. Jasmine found me some rubber bands. Okay, and I'm just following the placement mark there and centering it over my handle. Okay, and I am going to put a little rubber band. I'll get a thick one. Okay, and I'm just going to hold that. Just like that. See, that holds it better so that you can work with it. Okay, so we have that one on, and I will do another. Okay, and it goes. So we're going right up. Centered. Make sure it looks good. I think this one I could have moved up a little bit more there. Make sure they're even. Yeah, that would be smart to make sure that they're even. I'm using my mark there. There we go. So I think that, how does that look? That look pretty even? Jazzy, what you think? Look pretty. Okay, so now like I said, we're going to top stitch on the biggest of the connector pieces. Okay, so let me pick up all my, I tend to just pour my rivets out all crazy all the time. I have a little container that I used to keep them in, each one, each color, but then I never put them in there. And I just keep them in these little bags that they come in. And then when I need them, I just pour them out. And that's not good. Okay. So let me pick these up because if I don't, there'll be rivets all over the floor. Okay. Oh. Or handles in the trash. Okay. So let's go. Just double check one more time. Make sure that it looks good. I just don't want it to look all wonky. Okay. And now I'm going to give it a go. Okay. And I'm not going to back stitch here. Or am I? Well, I think I am going to back stitch a little. Just to give it a little more. Just a couple of stitches forward and back. Okay, so there we go. Oh, that looks kind of nice. What do you think of that? I think that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I broke my bobbin thread under there. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that. I'm going to attach the rest of the connectors and then we'll just keep it moving. So we're done putting the connectors on both the front and the back. Okay, I think they look pretty good. I'm going to leave the rubber bands on just to kind of, you know, shape. Well, let me see. Maybe they don't need to stay on anymore. No, okay. They're staying pretty shaped. Okay, I like that. All right. So, but the rubber bands really did help. So, let's go ahead and put the bottom on. So on the bottom, there's placement for your, on the pattern piece for your purse feet. So go ahead and put your purse feet on if you're using them. I have mine already installed. And now we're just going to attach the bottom to the front and the back panel with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. So I'll start with the front here. And I'll just clip it in place. Here we go. So as I'm doing this, today is another one of my daughter's birthday. So you hear me talking to Jazzy all the time. I have another daughter named Jayla, and she's turned 13 today. And we're going to celebrate this weekend. Pray for me, y'all, because now I got 6 teenagers. My baby is 10. I'm like, whew. Yes. So I don't know why my bobbin kit thread just broke again. I might have to change something out, my needle, something. But I don't have time for this machine to be temperamental because we have birthday celebration to do. Okay. So now we're going to top stitch. So bring the bottom down, seam allowance toward the bottom, and we're going to top stitch to the bottom at 1/8 of an inch. So now we have that, and now we're going to do the back. And again, we're going to top stitch through the bottom. So fold that over. Seam allowance going toward the bottom panel. And give it a top stitch. My dog Toby, he's just standing in the doorway. He knows, don't come in here. But he wants to come and be nosy. Okay. I'm going to take a second because obviously there's something going on. I think I'm going to change my needle because I just broke my bobbin thread again. And usually for me with my machine, if that happens, keeps happening, it's because I need a new needle. So I'm still sorry, but we're going to take a little break to come back, to go and change that needle out. Because I don't want this to keep happening. So I'll be back. All right, I got my needle changed. Let's see if that makes a difference. See, that was just one of those things when I kept saying, I need to change my needle. And then I just keep forgetting. How many of you change your needles regularly? I try to, but sometimes I do let it go on a little bit longer than it needs to. But that feels better. Okay. And then I saw somebody talking about what they do with their old needles. So if you're a coffee drinker, I get this coffee creamer. And it's perfect for just putting your old needles in. Okay, so that's how, this is where I put all my sharps, my dull sharps. Huh?
How many you got? Oh, Lord.
It's not that much, but there's like old dull needles, little blades, rotary blades. So this is good recycling.
It's better for the environment.
Better for the environment. Don't cut the sanitation workers, poke them or whatever. Okay. All right. So now we have our bottom. You know how I like to see it start looking like a bag. This snake print, I've used it before and I love it. It's from Your Vinyl Source and it's one of my favorites. So I was like, I'm going to use it again. I like that. Okay. So it's like fire. Alrighty. So now we're going to move along and we're going to go on to, I believe next, I'm just going to give it a little peek-see. Yeah, so we have to prepare our exterior before we get ready to do our side panels. So we're going to open it up flat just like this. And we're going to mark out 1 inch all around. Okay. We already have the 1 inch mark at the top from before. So let me just make sure it's this. Yeah, so I need to just redo this one. And really, it probably would be better to do it beforehand since the handles kind of want to get in the way. But I'm going to fold that back. Okay, so we're marking 1 inch. 1 inch all around. And we're going to fold this in, these raw edges in to meet that 1 inch line. And this is where you may need some glue. But if you have some really strong double-sided tape, that will work as well. So whichever you prefer. Okay. So we're just marking out the seam allowance here, 1 inch. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use, I know I've used glue in the past, but I'm going to use this 1/2 inch double-sided tape from Waywack. It's pretty strong. This is their hyper stick. And I'm just going to use this. And I think it's going to hold just fine. Okay. So I'm just running a piece along the edge here. This side. Because honestly, I just don't feel like smelling that glue today. I'm just out of the mood. And then these ends here. And one more end here. So, okay. So now we have that taped. I'm going to start folding these raw edges in to that 1 inch line, right up to that 1 inch line. So start here. And where we have some seams, if I'll just put a little clip to hold it down right there. So where we have the seams where the bottom seam meets, I'm just going to put a little clip on those seams. So don't go all the way up to the top just yet. I'm going to do both long sides and then I'm going to come do the short sides because we have to create those corners. So I'm just going to leave that for right now. I'm I'm telling you, this is some really good tape here. Okay. Alrighty. Now we're going to do the top, and I'll start folding it toward that 1-inch line at the top. Okay, so when we get to the corner here, just like we've done before, similar bags before, we're going to pinch these corners together. Okay, just like that. And really pinch that down. The same over here. So I'm going to get it right in the corner. Makes a little triangle there. Okay. And then we'll do the other side. It was so quiet before the boys came home. The boys bring some noise. I don't know if you can hear them, but I can hear them. Okay. Okay, so now we have these little ears sticking up, okay? And we're just going to trim those down. So get your scissors. I like to use these. And we're just going to, so run it right along there and just snip. Okay, and it should make a nice little corner there. And do the same thing. Just make sure it's really pressed down good. Okay. There you go. Alrighty. So now we have no raw edges on our exterior here. Okay, and that's looking good. Okay, so now we're going to get ready to work on our side panels. So if you're doing the side panels with the hidden connectors, then follow the directions in the pattern on doing the hidden connector. I'm not going to do a hidden connector. I'm going to use these little bridge connectors. I'm going to use those. So I'm just going to place it right where I would if I was doing the hidden connector. So it'll either go this way or this way. I haven't decided. Let me look at the placement. So I'm going to grab the piece, the pattern piece where it has the placement mark for the connector. Okay, and so lay that on like that, and then it has a placement mark for the rivet if you're doing the hidden connector, and then the line here where you would put the connector. Okay, so I think I may run it like this. I may have it go, because then so I'm going to have mine going straight, going up and down. So vertically like that. So I'm going to put my connectors. I'm going to do that. But first we have to prep our, panel. So you should have your Decaville light or whatever stabilizer you use. Where's some marks that you had to make, and so you know where to place your stabilizer. And then it is 1 inch. So up the sides and across the top. And we're going to, just like we just did the exterior, we're going to fold those raw edges in. Okay. But I'm going to make the mark on the other one, so I'll know where I'm going to put my connector. But first, we're going to handle those raw edges. Okay, so there we go. So that's about where we want it. So just like before, let me move this out of the way. And I'm going to go ahead and we will fold in the raw edges. You can put the connectors on first and then fold in the raw edges, but I'm just going to go ahead and do that right now. So let me get my tape back. Okay, and I'll just run right up the side here. And the same thing here. Okay. And across the top. So we'll do this one, and then I'll finish up with the second one, get my connectors on, and then so after I show you how I fold this one, then I'll come back and we will start getting ready to add the side panels to our exterior. So again, we're just folding in the sides and the top to meet that 1 inch line. And then the top, bring the top down, okay, and pinch right in the center, just like that. And the same thing over here. Okay. So there we go. So it should look like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other one and then put my connectors on, and then I'll be back. Yay. Okay, so my side panels, I have the connectors on. I didn't put the duct tape on yet because I want you to see. So I put a piece of Peltex stabilizer, and then I screwed in my my connectors. And I'm going to just put my duct tape on really quick. Then we will get our side panels ready to go on our exterior. Okay. So now we have that. Now we're going to take these little long tails here and we're going to put them together, right sides together. Okay. So the fold ends will be together and the raw edges will be together. And we're going to clip that. Across this short end here. And we're going to sew right across that short end at 1/4 inch seam allowance. So keep it all lined up, matched up. Now it should look like this. And we'll do the other side. Get under there and behave. Gotta talk to these machines, I'm telling you. Okay. There we go. Ready. So now once we have both of these short ends sewn up, now we're just going to fold that down just like that. So it'll look like this. Okay. So these corners here will match up like that. And we're going to clip that like that. You can open up this seam allowance here. And you clip that. And then this side. Make sure the sides are clipped first. Then we'll have that in just like that. Okay, so once that's clipped down, we're going to sew across there at 1/4 inch. I've never seen it done this way before. Kind of cool. Okay, and it looks like this. So from this side, it will look like that. Okay, and I'll just go ahead and do this one. Okay, so now we are ready to add it to our main panels here. So we will mark the centers on our bottom. So I'm just going to fold that and I'll just make a little mark on the inside there. So, and do the same thing here. I'm just matching up these seams and marking the center here. There we go. So now once I have that marked, okay, I'll take one of my side panels and we're going to put it together like this. So the right side of our side panel should be facing out. And we're going right, we're clipping that center seam right there at the center mark. Okay. Make sure the seam is opened. Okay. Go. So we're clipping it just like that. And then we're going to, well, let me put a couple more clips. One on each side. Okay. And then we're going to clip, start matching it up here at the top. Match those corners good. clip it around. Okay, and we'll do match this side here. Okay, and it should fit just right. Okay, so what is that dog grumbling about?
I think that is your bed.
Okay, so I think my husband's gonna be walking in the door any minute, and then my dog's gonna go berserk. So I'm going to finish clipping, and then we'll come back and sew up this side seam. I don't want to give Toby any kind of attention on the on my video. So anyway, it's going to look like this once you get it all clipped on. And then we're just going to sew it all around. But let me just wait and get my husband in the door and let Toby greet him. And then I'll come back and sew this up. That was a false alarm. It wasn't my husband. So he's just hearing the neighbors. So I'm ready to go ahead. So we're going to start right up here at the top. Okay, just make sure they can see me really good, Jazz. Okay, and I'm going to do 1/8 of an inch. Let's get close to that corner. I'm going to just take maybe 1 or 2 stitches back. Okay, and then just take your time. And just roll it as we get around the corners. Keep everything lined up. Just move it. Okay. Now it's a little bit thicker right here, so I'm going to keep this little piece of vinyl here to put on the back of my foot to kind of even things out, almost like a hump jumper. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that I get that under there so that my tension stays right. And I'm going to grab those pliers that I so love to use. I like to just hold it down. Okay. So these are the little things you have to do. Okay. I think hopefully that looks good. If not, we'll fix it later. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Make sure you keep that seam tucked under and out of the way. That's what I use these pliers for, to kind of hold everything down. Okay, roll and rotate. And I'm coming over to the next hump. Okay, so I'm going to do this again. Get that under there. Okay, and hopefully, we always hope it's going to look great. And don't fret if it doesn't. Sometimes, most of the time, there's a fix. Okay, we're almost to the end. And right there. Alrighty. We will look at the damage here and see what we got. Let's see. All right, so that's what we have it looking like. And under the bottom, let's see. I got one tiny little bitty loop. And right there where I have that little seam, that's it. So what I usually do is I go here and just kind of pull a little bit on the thread. And I just start kind of pulling it just a little at a time until it just evens out. So so from this side, I just got my stiletto up under one of the threads right there where I had the little loop. And I just started kind of pulling it, but not too tight. And I just kind of pull a little and then just even it out. And so now that tiny little loop is gone on the back. So that's what I do when I get those, you know, I might get one here and there, a tiny little loop-de-loop, you know. And so that's what I do to fix that. Okay, so everything is looking good to me on this side. And now all we have left to do as far as the exterior is put the other side panel on. So I'll go ahead, get that done, and we'll come back and we're going to get this finished. All right, I'm back. I have sewn on both of the side panels, and I have to say the Kellie bag is looking really cute. Okay, so what I've done is I have added glue inside. So I've glued not the side panels, but the front and back, and then the bottom. I've applied some glue. And I did also, this is the stabilizer I'm using. What I did was I fused some Decaville Heavy onto the back of Peltex. I wanted it doubled. So, and then I have glue spread over the back. And these lines are the fold lines that so that you can get the shape of the bag. And I used this Aquilim 315 glue that I got it from Amazon. So it doesn't have any strong odor, but you do have to let it sit for a little, becomes really tacky, and it sticks really good. So I think it's sat long enough. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop this right into the exterior here of my bag. Okay, and hopefully I can get it in there without sticking it to something that it shouldn't stick to. Okay, and I'll just push that down. Okay, and the good thing about this glue is if I get a little on the exterior, it will wipe off. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to push these sides out. And so I'm pushing the side out so I can get the stabilizer under there really well. I want to get it in place. And then I'll push the side back up over the top of the stabilizer. Okay, so we want to make sure that the stabilizer is not sitting on top of our side panel. We want the side panel to be pushed in and sitting on top of the stabilizer. So just like that. So just work those corners and get that. Okay, so that's one. Okay, and then here's, I just need to, so I'm pushing the side panel out and getting the stabilizer pushed underneath, and then repositioning the side panel back on top. Okay, make sure it sits right below the top, so it should meet right where the fold is. And then I'm going to try to get it to stick in place, and hopefully I put enough glue. If not, I might have to add a little more glue up here at the top. I was trying to be real careful. Okay. Get that, just making sure. There we go. All right, so that looks good. So that looks great. Okay, so I'll be able to put a little more glue on there if I need to. I'm just gonna take a little quick peek at this pattern to see what's next. So we need to do the main zipper next. So we're gonna grab our zipper panels, our zipper, and we're going to do our recessed zipper and then start putting our lining together. So I wanted to show you how to drop in the stabilizer, and that the bag, see, it really starts to take its shape with that stabilizer in there. And then later we're going to clip these sides so we'll get that nice shape like that, which I already did earlier. So you see how it's kind of already shaping up. And so it's really looking cute. Okay, and one thing I didn't do is add a label. And it's not too late for me to do that. I was thinking about putting it right here on the back.
Spice up the back a bit.
Spice up the back a little bit. Yeah. So I'll probably do that too. So probably go ahead and put my label in. I can still tuck it down in there and get it in. So again, I'll grab those zipper panel pieces and my zipper tape, and we're going to come back and get the recessed zipper ready and start working our lining. So let's get ready to prepare our recessed zipper. So you should have your 2 zipper panels, your zipper tape, and your zipper pull. So on the back of your zipper panels, you're going to mark 1/2 inch from each end. I place some double-sided tape, and then we're going to fold that end down to meet the line. Okay, so we should have 1/4 inch fold on each end. Okay, and we'll do the same thing for this one. Okay. Now, once we have that, let's go ahead and prepare our zipper tape. So we're just going to open up one end, and we're going to make a 90-degree angle. So I just bend down, wrong side together, and I have a fold like this. And then I just take the fold, I pinch that fold and bring it up right underneath the teeth of the zipper. Okay. And I'm going to hold that in place with a pin. Okay. And it should look like this. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side. So I'm folding it back. And then I'll give it, well, and then I'll pinch it right up underneath there. Okay. And pin. Okay. So now we have our zipper tape at the ends at a 90-degree angle. We're going to stitch down the sides, just baste it down in place. Okay. And the same on the other side. Okay, and then I just kind of burn the ends. Make sure. Okay, so now we have our, excuse me, we have our zipper like this. Okay, so now we're going to get ready to sew it onto our zipper panels. Okay. So I'm going to pull the zipper tape apart. And then I will fold these together. So one together, folded in half to mark the center. Okay. Okay. So there's the center. Okay. So I will take my zipper tape and I'm going to place it right side down, right at the, so I'm just going to leave maybe like a little less than a 1/4 inch. I know in the pattern it says right to the line, but I think you need to leave a little bit of gap there. Got glue on my finger. Leave a little gap there so that when you fold this over, you'll have that room there. Okay, so maybe like a 1/4 inch, a little or a little less. So I'm going to go ahead and clip that on. Whatever you do, whatever measurement you choose, you do it on both ends, because or else they're not going to be even. So this is, I am going to do 1/4 inch because I want to make sure that I have the same measurement on each side so that my zipper, recessed zipper, is even. So I made a mark 1/4 inch down from the center. And I'm going to put the zipper teeth right at that mark. Okay. And then just reclip my zipper tape. And I'm just going to baste this on at 1/8 of an inch. When you sew, try not to go past this fold, because then your stitches will show on the end. So try not to go past that fold. So I'm just basting it on. Okay. Alrighty, so now you should have that, and then we're going to fold this end over, matching up this end, and we're going to clip it on the side with the zipper tape. And we're going to sew down this side at 1/4 inch seam allowance. I hope I have enough. I can tell I need to replace my bobbin again. I can hear it. So 1/4 inch. Again, so right to the end of the fold, but not over the fold, so the stitches don't show. Okay. So now we should have this like this. We can snip this end here. So right above the zipper teeth, I'm just going to snip that little corner off, just so it's not so much bulk right there. And then we're just going to turn this out. Gently push that corner out. Okay. And then fold that. And I'll take my little chopstick and just kind of gently push this little corner out like that. And then we're going to match up these raw edges. Okay, this is the front side. Pay attention to what side is the front, because this side, I'm looking at the back of my zipper. And so this is the front. Okay. And now we're just going to top stitch around the whole thing. But before I do that, it's time for me to change my bobbin. And I think I need to make a bobbin to change it to, because I didn't do it ahead of time. Shame on me. I had 2 bobbins, but that wasn't enough. So I'm going to do that real quick, and I'll come back and we'll top stitch. All right, I'm back with some fresh bobbins. So like I said, we're going to top stitch around. I like to start on the raw edge side so I can back stitch without it being seen later. Okay, so just pivot on around. And make sure when you top stitch next to the zipper tape, that you kind of pull on the zipper tape a little. Keep it snug. Okay. And then okay. Bob to the back. Get rid of these little ends. Okay, so we have top stitched around. I just want to say, on this part here where we folded over, next to the zipper. If you have a domestic machine and that part gets a little too thick to sew over, just take some pliers and just press that and flatten it. Or you could take a little hammer and you can hammer that seam down, or you can even trim it down a little. I don't like to trim it, but I don't need to. But you may if you have a domestic. So you can just really just flatten that down and it'll make it a lot easier to sew over. Okay, so that's 1/2 of our zipper tape. Our recess zipper. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay, my double-sided tape decided to stop taping. Okay, so let me fold that back over. I don't know why it is that the 1/8 inch tape never holds as well as the others. Okay, so I'm going to find the center. Okay, find that center. Right there. And then I'm going to, this time it's going to go on this side, the right side down. So I'm going to mark 1/4 inch from the center. And that is where I will place the teeth of my zipper, and we will base this in place. And if you notice, I don't have my zipper pull on just yet. I always kind of wait and do that at the end, because it just gets in the way right now. Okay, so we're going to base that on. My doggy's so sad. What is he so sad about? Somebody must not be showing him any attention. Okay, so let's fold this over just like we did before. We're going to match up those ends. And then we're going to sew it at 1/4 inch. Okay. Now, just like before, I'm going to trim this little corner off and turn this out. Okay. And then we're going to top stitch. And this is the part I was talking about here. This is right here. If you need to just squeeze that, then you can do that. That's not a clip. Get out of here, you imposter. Okay, so now we're gonna go and top stitch this. Yep. Now, the moment of truth is, do they match up? Let's make sure. Okay, so that looks good. Let's make sure they match up. So let's put our zipper pull on. So just grab these ends, line them up, and let's get it on here. Make sure it's on evenly. And let's see. Well, it's not. It's not looking that even at the bottom. I ain't gonna lie. I think it's just a little. Let me see. It looks a little crooked. Well, I expected it to look a little better than that. Let's see here. Oh, I would really put that on crooked. Don't laugh at me, Jasmine.
My bad.
I raised you better than that. Okay. Why do I keep putting it on crooked? I just better leave it the way it was, huh? Mm-hmm. Well, this is why I don't normally do. I mean, you know. I'm never that 100% successful doing zipper tape like this. So, okay. Well, here's the thing. It's just a tiny bit off at the bottom, but it's mostly lined up at the top. I can live with that. You know. Can I live with that? Hold on a second. Look, I can't live with that. Okay. What did I do? Let's see. No, that should have lined up. That should have lined up. Let me see. This is one of those things where you just go, leave it alone, because you're going to make it worse if you don't leave it alone. And you just don't. You're just so hard-headed, you know? Okay. You know what? I'm going to leave it alone. Because this is not the time. This is one of those things where my daughters would be like, Mom, don't take it loose. Do not do that. Oh, okay. I think I made that better. A little better. Okay. So that's good enough. I think I can live with that. Can you live with that, Jazzy? I really can't. But oh well. Okay. I didn't get it perfect that time. But do we ever really get it perfect? Not really. But I'm okay with it. I can live with that. I won't torture anybody anymore. I'll live with that. You know, I'm setting a bad example. Okay. So now let's get ready to make the zipper pocket. So let's set that aside. I may or may not come back to it. But what we want right now is we want one of our main lining pieces. We want our zipper pocket pieces. And we want our zipper overlay. Okay. So let's get that. Let me grab my zipper pocket pieces. So you should have 2 of those. I'm using this waterproof canvas. So I have 2 of those. And 2 of your main lining pieces that looks like this. And we will need our zipper overlay, which I have not cut the window out of yet, but I will. Okay. So we're going to have our zipper overlay, and we're going to install our zipper. And of course, we need a zipper and a zipper pull. So I'm not going to do the zipper, the interior zipper online, on the video. I have a video how to do a zipper with overlay. I'll have the video link in the description. So if you want to see, it's done exactly the same way. Go ahead and watch that video. So I won't bore you with doing it here. So I'm going to go ahead. When I come back, I'll have the zipper installed, and we'll get ready to do the slip pocket. And we're getting even closer to putting this all together. So I'll be back. Alrighty, I have my zipper pocket all installed, and like I said, I have a video how to install a zipper pocket with overlay. I said I would come back and do the slip pocket, but I got carried away and I went ahead and put the slip pocket in too. But I have plenty of videos that where I do the slip pocket and it's done the exact same way. Other videos by Mekaposh that I've done where we do the slip pocket. So you can watch that if you're not sure. But this is the slip pocket with trim. And I put rivets on the end and put some stabilizer on the back. So these lining panels are done. And we have, so you should have your 2 lining panels, your recessed zipper, and the lining top panels. By the way, I was able to adjust my recessed zipper so it's all even now. I just had to adjust how I put the zipper pull on the zipper. I guess I was putting it on a little, I didn't have it cut even. So it was an easy fix. So my recessed zipper now I can live with. Okay, so on the back of your lining top panels, you should have a 1-inch line across the top. I put a T so I know that that's the top on each one. That's where we're going to fold that down for our drop-in lining. So let's get ready to put it all together. So I'm going to grab the lining piece with the zipper and I'm going to grab my recessed zipper and I'm going to, so I have the centers marked on my recessed zipper and I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to go ahead and pull it apart and make sure the zipper is going in the same direction as the one on my zipper pocket. So it's going to close this way just like on my zipper pocket. And this is the one I want to place on my lining right sides up. So both are right sides up and I'm matching the centers. And we're just going to base that in place. And then so with a 1/8 inch seam allowance, just baste it in place. Okay, so now we should have that. And then now I'm going to take the other one and place it on the other lining panel. So it should be going the opposite direction. Right sides up. And we'll base that. Ouch. And let's get that basted on. Okay. Alrighty, so now we have our recessed zipper in place, and now we're going to take our top lining band, okay, and this, we want it this way because we want the 1-inch line to be at the top when we turn it right side up. So we're going to go right sides down on the top of the lining. There's somebody, I don't know why, how, we must have a neighbor now that just got a motorcycle or something.
It's the little motorbike.
The motorbike. Huh? Oh, I hate those things. It's just, oh, they just get on my nerves. They're so loud. Like, ugh. We live in the desert, so we get a lot of kids doing ATVs and motorbikes and stuff, but you know, whoever this is, they want to do it right here on our street, and it's just loud. Okay, so we're going to sew this on at 1/4 inch. And we're going to fold the top band up like this, and we're going to top stitch through the top. So the seam allowance should be coming up towards that top band, and we're going to top stitch through that. Knock something out to take my stuff out of the way. Okay, so that is what your lining panel should look like. Okay, so we're going to take the next one, do the same thing. Okay, and now we're going to top stitch. Oh, and what I forgot to mention is before I cut earlier to do the zipper pocket, man, Jasmine saved me, because I had the overlay for a totally different bag, and she was like, "Wait a minute, that doesn't match." So I would have had a totally different overlay. This overlay would not have matched the main vinyl on the exterior. I was so glad she caught that. See, when you have like multiple projects going at one time, that's what happens. Okay, so now we have both our linings done here. Our lining panels done. Now we're just going to put them together. So match those top band seams. Make sure they line up. Okay. And we're going to clip the sides and the bottom, and we're going to sew them at 1/4 inch. And let me just double check. I believe the box corners are also sewn at 1/4 inch. Let me just check. Yes. Yes. So everything is sewn at 1/4 inch. So the sides, the bottom, and the box corners. So I'm going to start with the sides. Okay. Make sure the zipper tails are out of the way. And then we'll do match up this side. And now we'll do the bottom, and then we'll box the corners. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So pull the corners out, pull it out, match up the center seams here. I'll just nest one to one side, the other seam allowance to the other side, and clip that, and then match these corners, pull it out, pull this out, and then we're going to sew across that 1/4 inch. And now on the other side. Okay, so now our lining is ready. We just need to I'm going to put some double-sided tape around this top so that we can fold it down and get ready to drop it into our exterior. So I'm going to open up the seam allowance on the side, and I'm just going to put my double-sided tape right across the top. And we're going to fold it down to that 1 inch line. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, So once I have the double-sided tape all around, now I'll just go ahead and take the paper off and start folding down. So I'm going to start here on the side seams and just fold down to that line. Okay, so now once you have that all folded down, okay, we're just ready to go ahead and drop it in. So let's grab our exterior, which has our stabilizer already in there. And I think it seems like it all stuck now. Okay, very good. And make sure you're placing your lining in the right way. Okay, so this is the front. And you know what I never did? I never put my label. But that's okay. Sometimes I don't. And it's all right. So maybe I'll add like a tag. I'll do that. I'll add a tag. A hang tag. Okay. So make sure your zipper is to the back of the bag, if that's how you want it. I like my zippers to the back of the bag. And we're just going to drop that in there. Okay. Press it down good. Okay. And we can mark the center. Mark the center. I just pressing it in here to mark the center. I'm going to mark the center on the exterior. And then we have the seam on the lining. And so I'm just going to match that, because I want to make sure that that's centered in the middle. And I'll do the same thing in this side. So I'm just pinching this in on the side. And then I'll mark that with my chalk here. That's my center. And then I'm going to match it up with this side seam here. Okay. And now I have some I can still see the center marks from the inside here of my exterior, the center mark on my stabilizer, and then I have a little center mark here that I can kind of see on my lining. So I'm just going to make sure those kind of line up, and then I'll clip there as well. And I'll do the same on this side. And now it looks like everything's fitting really nicely. And I can just start clipping. And we're going to top stitch this on. And we will, since I'm using a flatbed, I don't have a cylinder arm. I'm going to have to top stitch because this is pretty stiff with the stabilizer, and especially that I doubled up my stabilizer. So I'm going to have to top stitch from the inside. And many of us who either have a domestic or a flatbed, we will have to top stitch from the inside. So make sure that your bobbin thread, the tension is good. I'll probably just put in a fresh bobbin and just make sure, and then I'll give it a little test and make sure everything is good. All right, I love the way that's looking. Okay. Push my lining some. Just straightening my lining out. Tucking in. There we go. Okay. Oh, that's looking so good. Okay, so now, once you get it all situated, we can go ahead and we can top stitch. So I'm going to clip my zipper tails. Just get them out of the way. I don't want to accidentally catch them when I'm top stitching. So just clip those down and out of the way. Okay, so like I said, we're going to have to top stitch from the inside. So we're going to have to lay our bag like this. And then we do also have these pretty bulky rolled handles, so you just push it back. Okay, and so I'm just going to start with a fresh bobbin. After I pick it up off the floor, pick that one up. Okay, oh yeah, I needed a fresh bobbin. Okay. And I think my needle should be fine because I changed it earlier. But what I'm going to do is I take my little piece here and I'm just going to make sure that my bobbin thread the tension's good before I start in on my bag. So the tension looks good to me, and I hope it stays that way. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start here on the back, and I'll try to press it down as much as I can. If you need to adjust the camera angle, let me know, Jazzy, to get in on this side a little. And we're just going to top stitch. That good? Okay. Let me get this thread from under there. Okay, so here we go. Let's get going. Okay. Get a little right there. Whoops. Here goes nothing. Okay. Just take your time. Don't rush this part. This is the part You definitely don't want to rush. Now I'm going to start adjusting and turning. Okay. I'll press this down as much as I can so you can hopefully see what I'm doing. Okay. Just making sure that my lining does not poke out on top. Okay. I'm trying to keep it pushed down so I'm not blocking the view as much as possible, but it might be difficult. Don't be afraid to push your bag down. Okay, we're getting around. Ooh, I'm coming around to the front. I have the other handle. I'm just trying to keep everything in place. I don't want my lining creeping up over my exterior. I hope my stitches are looking okay on the other side. You just never know until you know. Okay, I made it to the other side. Whew, let's see. Let us see. Okay, so let me cut these threads. And let's all look together. Okay. So, let's bring it back around, Jazzy, and let's see if we need to make any kind of adjustment. Okay, so okay, let's see. Well, not too bad. Not bad at all. I do see over here, it looks like it skipped a stitch a little bit right there. So I'm just going to go, and that's right on that corner right there. Just skip the little stitch right there. But that's about it. That's about it. Everything else looks pretty good. And then on some of these little corners where we had to trim to make the miter corner, I'm just going to put a little edge paint on there where you get a little white showing through. And that's it. That's it. I'm really happy with that. Let me go ahead and just, like, I'm just going to I'm going to go from the top here and just go back over this one little area where I had a skip stitch. And that's it. There we go. That's better. Okay. Alrighty. I am very happy with the Kellie bag. That sounds so funny to me. Okay. So now we just need to shape her. Make sure everything is looking good. And now we're going to just quickly, we are going to put our zipper pull back on, and we are going to, I was going to make a strap, but then I decided to just do, to add a chain, because I like the way that looks. So let me, what I do is the zipper pull. Okay, so let me get the zipper pull on. And then we have a zipper end to put on. Oops. Oh, that looks so good. Look at that. That looks good, doesn't it? Okay, so let me grab my zipper end and we'll get that put on. Of course, I had it here a second ago. And now what did I do with it? Well, you know, it's been like one of those days where everything's been kind of crazy. Oh my God. Trying to get ready for my daughter's birthday and stuff. So I just been moving and moving. Okay, so I'm just going to get my screwdriver. And I'm going to burn this in here. And then fold that back like such. Make sure it's even in the middle. And I just kind of burn it closed like that. Okay. And then slide that on. I'm just using the stiletto to kind of start the hole. And hopefully I don't lose the screw. We could put a little glue in there later. Okay. And we'll just get that on. Oops. Alrighty. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. That looks good. Okay. So, I just need to see if I have a chain over here. Well, I might. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to get one. Because I decided at the last minute that I wanted to do a chain strap. So, so what we have to do is just kind of massage these ends in place like that. And she suggests putting some clips in there to kind of keep the shape. So I may clip it later. I have some clamps too. Okay. And that's gonna look so nice. I have a little silver chain, but I might later too also get one of those chunky straps too to put on it. But look at that. Isn't that cute? I love it. I love the Kellie bag. I do. It's so cute. And the structure is so good. So I do hope that you all make one of these. Again, this is the Kellie Bag by Mekaposh. And once again, I want to thank her. I was so honored that she chose to name a bag after me. And, oh, look at Jazz got my strap for me. My chain strap. So we can see what that looks like with the chain. I don't know why lately I've just been loving chain straps. Let's get that on. Just so we can see before we go. Okay, my hands don't want to work. There we go. All right. So yeah, I don't know. I might still make a strap for it later. I don't know. If I decide to keep it and carry it, I might make a strap, a regular strap. But I do love it. I love that. I love the look of it. It looks so good. Look at that. Look at the sides. And then the inside. It looks so good. Alrighty. So that's enough of that. We'll admire it later. So, thank you all for watching Soulful Creations making the Kellie Bag by Mekaposh. Please, please, please like, subscribe. I want to keep making these tutorials, and it is very helpful. And I hope to be able to do another one soon for you. So everybody be blessed. Take care. Thank you for watching.